during our ghost walk here at Ohio Drag City, we're gonna follow the trail. This was the roadway into the track. You made the left and you pitted. Where that white building is over there used to be the concession stand and bathrooms, restrooms. Straight ahead, we'll go there in a second, used to be the tower for the PA announcers and the timing equipment. Out there to the left were the hangars. Those two big brown buildings used to be hangars that used to house airplanes. Back in the day, this was an airport, a functional airport, a Youngstown Executive Airport. Planes used to fly in here with supplies for the Lordstown plant, which is about 10 miles that way. They made the GM cars back in the day. They made the Chevrolet Impala, the Vega, the Caprice, or the Cobalt, Cavalier. They were all made at the Lordstown plant. When they needed special parts flown in, they flew them in from Detroit. And then a lot of people had their private airplanes out here. Now, Monday through Friday, this was a working airport. Saturday and Sundays, it was a working airport. But from 5 o'clock on Friday to midnight, and Saturday from 5 o'clock midnight, it was shut down as an airport. But that didn't mean that planes didn't come in. So you'd be racing down the track, and a plane would land. So they'd stop the races, let the plane come in, land, taxi back to the hangar, and then we'd start racing again. Also, if you notice, there's no high tension wires, there's no electrical wires, there's no guardrails, there's no electricity, there's no water. So when you came out here, this was a working airport, except on the Friday nights and Saturday nights. Now, a little known fact was, back in the day, we could race 5 nights a week in a 4-day period. Thursday night, Alex had a little 8th mile track over in Sharpsville, Pennsylvania, Sharon, PA. It was 8th mile. You ran Sunset Drag Strip Thursday night. You come over here on Friday night, race Ohio Drag City. Saturday night, you come back out to Ohio Drag City, race Saturday night for the big money. Race for $500. That was big money back then. And this is one of the original, and I mean original, no prep tracks. This was on all asphalt drag strip. Years later, Alex came in and poured cement for us to race on cement. Now, how do you get 5 races out of 4 days? Well, Sunset would run Sunday morning. He'd open up at 8 o'clock, first rounds at noon. If you lost first or second round in Sharon, PA, lit up all your stuff and ran over to Quaker City, NHRA track, Salem, Ohio, 20 miles that way. So you get 5 races, and if you wanted to race, you could race 5 chances to race in a 4-day period out of Youngstown, Ohio. So we're gonna take a little walk down here. You can see this was the road to the staging lanes. It's all grown over now, but you pitted to the left, you pitted to the right. This was the road to the staging lanes. So we'll walk to the staging lanes now. A lot of guys pitted up here. A lot of the big time guys got to pit close to the staging lanes. Now, the other thing about Drag City, which was the norm back in the day, was there was no water. We had no water at the starting line. So everybody had to bring their own gallon of water. So you brought a gallon of water with you. One of your crew guys carried the water for the burnouts. And there's a I don't know if it's an old wives' tale or it's an urban legend, but there was a guy that come out here every weekend with his dad, ran an altar. And every time the driver of the altar would screw up, his dad would just throw that bucket down. He'd throw his gallon of water on the track, cuss up and down, throw it down, jump up and down. As this kid went down the track after a red light, dumped the water on the starting line, we'd have to clean it up. There's also an urban legend that the same fellow got the top end. His dad used to chase him with a 4-wheeler, or back then we didn't have 4-wheelers. We used the chase vehicle, like a pickup truck to chase with. He got to the other end and the kid was getting out of the race car. The old man thumped him in the helmet with the water jug. Urban legend, maybe not, because I know a lot of us saw it. So it's probably a true fact, but we can't say it's not true, but it's true. Urban legend. Another thing out here that's unusual is that the track itself runs downhill. So the burnout box is running downhill, top end runs downhill. Now, going back to the 5-day routine, all the pro stock guys, they would book them. Wednesday night, those guys at Match Race, Bill Jenkins, Maskins and Canarino, Eddie Shortman, Billy Lyons, all the guys from this area would Match Race Thursday night at Sunset Drag Strip. Friday night, they would come over to Youngstown Drag City, Match Race here. Saturdays, they would go up to Thompson and race on Thompson Drag Strip, which is an hour and a half north, south of Cleveland. They'd Match Race there. Sunday, if Mossy booked them in, Dick Mossy on Quaker City, if he booked them in, bang, them guys could hit Youngstown, Ohio, do 4 match races in 4 days, and make a nice payday. So let's walk to the stage lane and see what shape it's in. Now, Drag City, to the best of my knowledge, we had 4 classes. The fast class was 10.99 or faster. And what happened was you'd make your 2 qualifying passes, and 10.99 or quicker, you were in the fast class. 10 flat or 11 flat to 12.99 was the second class. 12.99 to 15, and then from 15 on up was the trophy class. Now, another urban legend, Tom Martino, big-time drag racer now. Back then, not so good, but not so bad. If you won your class or you won a race out here, your name would be in the Youngstown paper. Well, Tommy wasn't allowed to race his streetcar. Tommy got caught. Mom and Dad weren't happy. So what you did, you get to the semifinals, good. You get to the finals, you red light, so your name doesn't get in the paper. True fact. Another thing that makes Meander Dragway exceptionally smart. I mean, these guys that ran this track were way, way, way before their time. So how we used to do it out here was, if there was 11 cars in the fast class, you all went to the tech truck, and Alex would take 11 cards out of his pocket, and he'd pair them up. Ace of Spade was the buy. It was an odd car. There was 11 cars, so yeah, it was an odd car. So he'd take the Ace of Spade, put it in the deck. Then he would match the cars. A black king and a red king, and a queen, king, jack, all the way down till he got to his 10 pairs, 5 cards, 2 pairs a match. You'd shuffle the cars up, just like on the Street Outlaws. They go in the bag to pick the BBs out of the ping pong balls or the chips out of the bag. Alex would take 11 cards, put them in his little carpenter's bib, pull them all out, shake them out, and we drew cards. This guy pulled this card, this guy pulled this card. When they matched up, that's who you ran. If you got the ace, you had to buy first round. If you matched up ace and ace, or a king and a king, a queen and a queen, a jack and a jack, you guys raced, and you flipped for lane choice. Faster car didn't get lane choice back then. It was just a flip of a coin or an agreement. What lane you want, I'll take the left, you take the right, whatever. But that's how we started the races, and only in the fast class. The other guys, it was random pairing all the way up through the night, but the fast class got on a ladder, and that's how we drew our opponent for the night. And it was a big thing. We'd be standing there 10, 15 minutes waiting for Alex to come down with the cards, and it was a great time to get guys are shooting the bull, carrying on, teasing each other, throwing down, yelling, side betting. But that's how we started our races in the fast class. Let's take a walk up here, check the staging lanes out, and walk the track. We still rolling there, Ryan? All right. Another thing about Drag City, back when we raced in the 70s, going into the 80s, everybody had a car name on their car. Our car was naturally Tino's Toy, but there was the Silver Fox, Pucker Power, Hind Motors out of Kinsman, Ohio had Hemi cars, the Hustlin' Hemi, the Honkin' Hemi, the Haulin' Hemi, Melnick out of Hubbard, Ohio, down the street, Jeff, Devil's Duster, Ricky Force, Boardman, Ohio. Name of the car, Midnight Rider. We had a Corvette that ran out here. He had Pac-Man on his car. He was the Pac-Man Corvette. Everybody, the dragsters weren't that big in the day because everybody had door cars, but every car had a name. I can't remember anybody that didn't come down here that didn't have a name on their race car. Another thing was, you got guys from Akron, Ohio come up here. Canton, Ohio. Guys come down from Cleveland. Guys come over from Pittsburgh to run his big, he'd have $1,000 race every month. And it was a big race. So guys would travel, guys you never saw before in this area would all come down here. This track was fenced in. There was a fence. Killer Brooks, Lorenzo Brooks, east side of Youngstown. It's Alive Vega, which was a Pontiac Astra. He come off the track, another urban legend, off the track, ripping a 4-speed transmission, never missed a gear. Jumpin' Joe Groves turned out to be an IHRA champion, raced here every weekend. Jumpin' Joe was the name of the Camaro. It looks like the staging lanes are all growed over. So we're gonna walk up this way, which is the track. Straight up this way was the staging lanes, all the way to that white sign. Then we went left and came down.